Welcome to the Zero Racing Series at Zhuhai, our debut in China and debut at this circuit. With me on commentary is, of course, Byron Dirksen.
Wrong.
He's here. He can claim otherwise all he wants.
Nope.
And our third man in the booth is the raging anger god, the man with all the hiccups in the world, Travis Wallace.
Ni hao.
How's it going with the flappy paddles? I hear you guys have an affliction and might need some cream for that.
Oh yeah, yes, the flappy paddles.
Yep.
Today we have we had 17 cars, but 2 of them are not going to make the starting grid. One is the Audi of Mr. Tertian, who will not make the grid due to a fire drill at his student residence. And Tom Laws in the Camaro will not make the grid due to the fact that the rear end of the transmission, it just fell out on the way to the grid. There was nothing the team could do to get it back in there.
That sounds interesting.
Some notes before we start off. Mike Stockmill taking a 20-point penalty at the start of this race to switch from the BMW M6 to the Lincoln Park liveried Mercedes AMG GT3.
That is both lame and irrelevant.
I mean, it hurts his championship hopes a considerable amount.
I don't really believe you mean that when you're saying it. Also, Lincoln Park, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not just switch to the Bee Gees or Donna Summers or some shit?
So our grid is Mike Stockmill with championship leader Paul Riccobeni on the front row, Simeon Naku and Gerardo Del Valle on row 2, Ariel Zatoni and Wayne Hutchison, Richard Higgs and Mike McCracken, Joe Racer and Lachlan Nichols, Rick Martell and Noel Robbins, John Picha and Carl Hackman, and last in qualifying, Tom Laws. It should be mentioned Grant Patolo in the Nissan did not post a qualifying lap and will start from the back of the pack.
What a loser.
I mean, he's just adding himself a little bit of a challenge, sir.
A loser.
Travis, can you give us a breakdown of this track, your thoughts, and hopes, I should say, for this particular Chinese venture?
Really just tell us how far ahead Simeon Naku is going to be from here on out.
That too.
Sure. Never driven it, and that's the conclusion of my spiel.
Well done and presented. I commend you for your honesty and forthtuitiveness.
It's a succinct breakdown.
Yeah, I'm not going to be much help at this one. From what I can see, though, it's wide, and the rumble strips may be unforgiving.
They're okay. I mean, in spots, they're really, really bad. If you look at the last turn, for example, if you get onto, like, the second layer rumble strip, it's pretty bad. But, you know what? You can ride the curbs a little bit depending on what car you're in. And there's a lot of overtaking opportunities because there's a lot of pretty hard braking zones and low traction drive out of corners. That means if you can get those right, you can make up a lot of positions, actually. So it's one of these tracks that I don't think qualifying is necessarily going to be a tremendous thing. And that's why my man to look for is the man starting in the back, Grant Patolo. Because we know Grant is a D1 driver. Very fast. There he is in the Nissan, actually up ahead of Mike Stockman. And I think he'll make up some ground, although a lot of people thought that he was driving a Mustang when he was coming up behind them, which is interesting, to say the least.
I'm a little confused. You said that Mike Stockmill has switched to the Lincoln Park livery. Why isn't it oozing tears and mascara?
I think that's in the next download patch, I think.
Again, next graphic upload.
Next graphical upload will involve emo car.
I'm about to jump the edge. I'm gonna break.
You can see the nice Lincoln Park on the doors.
Can I? My eyes won't focus. I'm sorry.
Your eyes won't look at it.
A little up on the whiskey.
So that is the new look, the very chrome colored Mercedes. Mike Stockmill.
Let's just say it's the poor man's Golf because they couldn't afford blue paint.
Fair enough. Should be mentioned actually just in a kind of neat note. Grant Patolo is actually driving the teammate car of Ben Schwarry, and Ben Schwarry's not here. So it's almost like Schultz Motorsport just sent Grant to take Ben's spot on the grid.
I both appreciate and am disappointed by that because your boy Ben Schwartz is the perpetual crowd favorite.
He is one of them, although let's be honest, the proper crowd favorite is the model Rick Martel.
He is very attractive. Also, I had to stifle some hiccups. Thanks, Travis, you dick.
Yep, you're welcome. I like how when no one set a time, everyone's ranked the number 1 car.
What?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm surprised no one has set a time, actually. We're like 3 minutes into this session. There we go, we got times. Got times for Mike Stockmill and Grant Patullo.
I'm bored. Let's do the Academy. Those guys are exciting.
The Academy is racing tomorrow from the Raceroom National Layout circuit.
Maybe I'll do it live.
Since we have a 1 minute, we got 1 minute left here. Travis, do you have any people you're expecting big things from in the Academy race?
Oh man, I don't know. I have not spent a lot of time with them this week. I have been pulling a lot of overtime at work this week.
I think Andrus Richter is going to be the man to look for. He's lapping within a half second of Mike Stockmill on the leaderboard.
Wow.
He's got the hot hand. Hasn't won a race this season, but I think that might change.
How about that Mike Magus kid? He's coming in number 2 there. So, are we speculating how many Mexican supplements / C-bills he's handed out to get to that position?
I was on some Mexican supplements.
Good old Tijuana Overdrive.
By which I mean painkillers. I was high and sounded like a Mexican in chat for this race.
Everybody, I'm going to pass on the land.
Simeon Naku. Actually, Grant was apparently not aware of my dental situation, and he's listening to me and just goes, "What the hell have you done to yourself?"
I tried to beat the train. I did not make it. I now give the Warham thumb up.
So we got 15 cars on the grid here to start. Race number 1.
I gotta say, hold on, time out. I get Lachlan, the block rockin' Lachlan Nichols in the lemon lime car. Outstanding. Well done.
Indeed. So it's a man with a sense right there.
The note hashtag no scurvy.
Never gonna get scurvy with that kind of level of lemon commitment. And we're just waiting for Simeon Naku to join the grid. I can see him there in the pit lane. And we are ready to go. So we are riding with Grant Patullo starting from P15. He got promoted 1 spot when Tom Was failed to make the grid. And here we go.
Oh, this is good get out right here. Oh, your boy in the lemon lime going for it.
Indeed. We got some people going for it. We got Grant Patullo moving around in the background there. We got some action going on. Carl Hackman off to a fantastic start into the top 10. I'll let you know we kind of missed it there, but he cannonball runned a couple of guys, including myself.
I heard that Carl Hackman probably firebombed the Notre Dame Cathedral because they weren't up to his literary standard.
Indeed, there was about 5 cars that ended up off the track because of that start by Carl Hackman.
It's a nice, solid Canadian mid-pack there.
It is. Wayne Hutchinson, Richard Higgs, and Rick Martel kind of battling the same group there, but up front is Mike Stockmill leading from Rick Benny and his championship rival, Simeon Naku.
Listen, I think we should get Paul Riccobeni definitely on some wrestling podcast type action.
We definitely should.
And we can claim we had the real Riccobeni.
We had the real one, yeah. Lachlan Nichols, by the way, up from 10th on the grid to 6th place.
Well played. Spicy.
Leading the Canadian Mercedes duo of Wayne Hutchinson and Richard Higgs.
Little Higgs, let me in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
In the meantime, Mike Stoffmill trying to get away. For the record, Mike Stoffmill pretty much has to win this race to score points because, again, he's carrying a negative 20 score right now.
I'm sorry, did you say has to win or is foretold to win?
There is no foretelling a win. Stunningly enough,
sure.
Stoffmill's only got 1 win in 0.
Oh, well, I mean, it's because he's only showed up one time.
No, he's showed up a couple times, and actually he's finished as low as 5th.
Oh my goodness.
From the back of the pack, by the way, my man to watch in this race, Grant Patolo, up to 9th position there for the Platypus.
The Platypus! He's got them spurs, don't get anywhere near his rear tires.
Gerardo Del Valle looking to make a move onto the podium here as he puts the pressure on. It looks like these 4 kind of making a getaway. Ariel Zatoni and Lachlan Nichols quite able to stay with them. And further back, you can see the pink Mercedes. Oh, contact!
What the fuck?
Looks like Paul Riccobeni wound up getting spun around there and has fallen back. That has promoted Simeon Naku to 2nd. Lachlan Nichols in the carnage also made a move there, getting around Ariel Zatoni into P4 for Mr. Nichols.
Probably July.
Lachlan Nichols, by the way, an example of infinite synergy, if you guys are unaware. He's scored 20 points and taken 20 points in penalties, meaning that his score is 0.
That's well balanced.
Well balanced. He had a very rambunctious time at Laguna Seca. In the meantime, Mike Stockmill leads away from Naku, Del Valle, and Nichols. Up to 5th is Riccobeni. Looks like Zatoni is falling back. So he is definitely having a hard time keeping that Mercedes under control. And is in fact at the head of a Mercedes train there with Hutchinson and Hicks.
Come on, ride that train. And ride it. Woo, woo. Yeah, boy.
Meantime, a little bit further back, looks like Joe Racer and Mike McGracken scrapping over 11th place. And Hutchison is now up under the wing of Ariel Zatoni, who, for the longest time, has been kind of the lead Mercedes driver. With Stockmill joining the crew, probably feeling the pressure to perform, and it's not working out because Hutchison's through. And I think Higgs will be through shortly.
All I know is that Higgs is racing the BC Lions car, and therefore he should win on style points alone.
I mean, that is a nice car, not gonna lie. Open up a blink there, a little Romulan cloaking device from Lachlan Nichols.
Lol Chan and the Masters of the Universe!
We ride on board with Ariel Zatoni, currently running in 7th place, trying to get back past Wayne Hutchison and trying to defend against the aforementioned BC Lions car of Richard Higgs. Further back there is the Platypus, Grant Patolo, and rounding off the top 10 is the model, Rick Martel.
Honestly, all that's going through my head right now is various songs by the band Green Jello.
Green Jello, interesting.
Yeah, they do the Three Little Pigs song that I... Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin!
Ah, okay, gotcha.
And they also do a self-deprecating song called Green Jello Sucks.
I mean, that is about as self-deprecating as one can get.
Yeah, I can't remember if that came out before Primus started doing the Primus Sucks thing, or if they came out with it first.
I think the Primus Sucks thing came out first.
Hashtag PrimusSucks.com.
Indeed.
It's still their website.
I know.
No, you don't. I don't think you are.
I'm aware.
Oh, fair enough. Carry on.
Gerardo Del Valle getting a little bit of pressure there on Simeon Naku, our silver dominant champion, and possibly the first man who can maybe do a double win in the history of Zero, because he's leading the Silver Cup to the point where, I mean, he's won the Silver Cup. I don't think there's even a mathematic chance of him not winning it.
Listen, Gerardo, send me the anchos. I need my chili to be muy picante. See?
And in the meantime, championship leader Paul Riccobeni still trying to get back through the field after whatever happened to him. We didn't really catch it, but he's on the tail of Lachlan Nichols now for the 4th position. And further back, that squabble between the Mercedes has really allowed the Nissan of Grant Patolo to get really up in there.
I'm not gonna lie, I have a cousin named Grant, so I mean, there's a bit of a soft spot there. But also, if he doesn't send me 92 boomerangs, I'm gonna definitely curse him.
Are you sure you don't want him to throw a boomerang at Colby Covington?
I mean, that's also an acceptable alternative.
I hate to break in, but Ariel Zatoni,
Ariel, why?
Kinda forced his way through there and off the track.
Way outbreaking himself.
Indeed. That will force him out of the top 10 for the time being. Looks like he's going to rejoin in, I'm going to say probably 12th position there, because Noel Robbins and John Peach they're a little bit further behind, along with Carl Hackman. And it looks like Riccobeni has taken 4th place off of Lachlan Nichols. And Richard Higgs up to 7th place with Zatoni's misplaced aggression. It looks like Lachlan went off there as well. He's dropped back into the clutches of the Mercedes.
I would like to restate my demand that we have a Hackman versus Carman type scenario.
I'm trying to make it happen. I'm trying to make it happen.
Listen, monster trucks, spin tires, whatever it is. Oh, hello!
Richard Higgs getting into the back of Wayne Hutchinson. Hey. The Canadian Mercedes boys just did a little bit of friendly fire there.
Canadian Destroyer.
This is going to open the door for the Australian Grant Patolo, putting the pressure on against Richard Higgs, looking to get up into 6th place.
Don't you let that northern Tasmanian asshole in this? Come on. I mean, that's good livery. Good livery. Carry on.
In the meantime, looks like Mike McGracken putting the pressure on Rick Bartel in a battle of the two most experienced Zero racers in the field.
Battle for most attractive.
I would lose that battle.
Well, it's because you're very short.
Very short? Just short compared to you.
Bruh, you're like 1 inch tall.
McGracken putting the pressure on, and in the background you can see the recovering Wayne Hutchinson putting pressure on Joe Racer. And, further back, looks like Ariel Zatoni's lost his front end off of that collision with the wall.
Every time I watch one of these races, I'm struck by the fact that if I actually got deep into this, you guys would kick me out of the league immediately.
Why is that?
I would get obsessive, angry, belligerent. I would be clap plus, like, 0.02.
So like a hybrid of Clap and Yevgeny?
I would be so angry at myself that I didn't win and be perfect that it would be the worst thing you've ever seen in the you have no idea.
Your self-directed rage would radiate off of you so badly.
Of course, and then I would direct it towards other people, like Joe Racer being so much shorter than myself and therefore having an advantage, reaching the pedals, and like a weight advantage.
Looks like Mike McGracken made a mistake trying to get around Rick Martel and his lost spots to both Joe Racer and Wayne Hutchinson.
What the fuck? Is it because he's got the Gulf oil? Is that what it is?
It's because I was about to vomit.
I mean, that's also a thing. You should have come played fucking tanks with me instead of playing 19 hours of straight fucking not shooting cars.
I tried to play the tanks and I had the same problem actually while I was
Don't lie to me.
No. Like, I mean, there was definitely a hierarchy. Like, the worst was Mech Warrior.
Yeah, it is. God damn.
Patolo gets into the back of Richard Higgs.
No.
This is a race.
Little Higgs, let me in.
Looks like Richard has recovered and hasn't lost any additional spots, but he is off the tail of Lachlan Nichols. Maybe a hit ordered by the Australians there?
See. Operation Thylacine in action. Oh, get off my fucking track.
Wayne Hutchinson and Joe Racer getting a little physical for 9th place.
So working hard to get those spots back.
Get the heck off of my track.
Ariel Zatoni's keeping up pretty well for a guy who's missing a good chunk of his car. In the meantime, Mike Stopbill's pulled out a 8-second lead over Simeon Naku, who has Gerardo Del Vea still for company. And behind them is Paul Riccobeni, the Monteplas by Land Audi. Nice new livery for Mr. Paul Riccobeni. I think he debuted that at Suzuka. Grant Patolo looking to take the honor of top Australian from Lachlan Nichols. They're still squabbling over 5th position. The Nissan very strong in a straightaway. The Porsche gonna have the edge in the turns. So it's that classic muscle versus handling argument right there. Wayne Hutchinson still putting the pressure on Joe Racer. Gonna get past the McLaren.
T-Bone.
Oh! Getting physical.
Trying hard. I'm wondering if the damage is maybe slowing him up a little bit, making it a little tougher for him.
I think it's more Joe Racer slowing him up. It's like I think he's faster than Joe.
Darn it, Joseph.
And he is through, and you can see his back end is a little bit fucked up.
Joseph Racenstein. OP, please nerf.
And the Aussies are still battling there. And I mean, of course, you got to ask the question: has not hitting the car worked? I mean, scientifically speaking. And for those of you not familiar with a pimp named Slickback, that went over your head.
Oh, I hate it cut away. He had the run on him there.
Who's got the runs?
He did, but it looks like Nichols is going to hold it.
Yeah.
Gerardo, you talk about the anchos, maybe the guajillos. See, yeah, rapido.
And yeah, we're back on the battle of the Australians over 5th position here. Grant Patolo versus Lachlan Nichols, Porsche versus Nissan.
No, I am impressed. I mean, was it Patullo that? Yeah, he started 15th, right?
He started P15, he's up to 6th, and Lachlan's had a pretty good run. Started 10th, he's up to 5th.
No worries, mate. He's going to take a wallaby in the fucking Uru, and it's all going to be over.
Going to be a little bit of Australian on Australian violence. Wayne Hutchinson had gotten the job done against Joe Racer earlier and is on the way to get past Rick Martel. Indeed, Wayne Hutchinson up to 8th position.
Actually, in a real Australian wildlife thing, have you heard about the, I think it's pronounced Quora? Quora?
That does sound correct.
It's apparently these things are little marsupials, and they've never really had an actual, like, predator. So you can go to this island off the southwest.
Wait a second. I just have to verify here. There's something in Australia that the rest of Australia doesn't want to kill?
I know, really? I think there's some on the mainland, not very many, but the majority of them are on an island on the southwest, off the southwest coast of Australia. And there's really no predators there. And they it's not that they love people, but they just don't know that people are retarded shitheads.
Dangerous.
Inherently dangerous and retarded shitheads. And they're happy. Like, there's so many selfies out there. It's like Quora. Quora, however you pronounce it. And they make smiley faces into the camera. They're super happy. But if they're ever really threatened by a predator, they will totally throw their fucking baby in the way and then run to safety.
Okay.
that is not where I thought that talk was going.
No, not at all.
It took a turn there.
The bait and switch is my deal.
About how cute and cuddly they are, and then they are baby killers.
It's like a fuck you, I'm living. I'm gonna have more babies, fuck you.
Want to live, I can have more.
There's more where that came from, fuck you.
I don't need no baby. In the meantime, we got a pretty good fight going on here. Mike McGracken has gotten past Joe Racer into 10th place, and of course these two Australians are still going at it hammer and tong. Grant Patolo in the Nissan still trying to get past the Porsche of Lachlan Nichols, and it looks like McGracken may not be done. He's got his eyes set on Rick Martel. He wants to be the veteran winner today.
Fucking foreshadowing, it's okay to acknowledge that that's you driving the car.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no recollection of this action, and nor can you prove that legally.
I really don't, actually.
He was drugged up as fuck, almost as drugged up as I am. Deep into the whiskey right now.
It looks like Patolo has gotten that 5th place off of Lachlan Nichols.
That's not the way to hold it, though.
But not the way to hold it. Slides out wide.
Put him in the wall.
Yeah, the 2 hairpins here, you go down to like 1st gear, so you're really got to be careful with the application of the throttle. And it looks like Patolo wasn't quite as careful as he needed to be there. And for now, it costs him the spot back, but you feel like he is the faster car and has the inside line here again. And the man who really is benefiting off of this is look how close Richard Higgs has gotten to these 2.
Little Higgs,
absolutely in the mix now. And of course, that Mercedes, the most powerful car on the grid. McCracken has gotten Martel, and now Martel has to worry about Joe Racer coming up for him.
Higgs is going to take you to the slaughterhouse.
And it looks like Higgs has gotten past Patolo and dropped him to 7th place. And indeed, there it is. It's now Higgs who's going to take a run at Lachlan Nichols, who's done a pretty solid job of actually defending, although their bickering is really letting Wayne Hutchinson maybe come back into play. I don't think there's enough time left with only a little bit over 2 minutes left in the race, but...
one might even say that Nichols did nothing wrong.
Lachlan Nichols locking down the inside there, and for now holding off Richard Higgs. Higgs having a pretty good race after a bit of a rough time for him. Suzuka, of course, ended early for him, and he had some struggles also at Laguna Seca, so a solid ending here would be great. And is Lachlan Nichols going to lose both spots? No, but Higgs is through on the inside into 5th place. Looks like we're getting a little bit of lag in the recording here as well.
I blame Andy.
I mean, I'm always down for blaming Andy Blade.
It's Andrew Blade, I believe.
I had a whole joke going on while we were racing in the open server about how Andy is racing for charity to cure his son Rusty's horrible condition.
He's got that lockjaw and tetanus.
He needs a tetanus shot, that.
He needs 2 more nickels to get the tetanus shot for the chest.
This corner right here, this last one on the track, is stunningly difficult. As you can see, the 2 Australians going off the track there.
Straight off.
It's really hard because you want to keep maximum speed through that corner. But man, do you go wide when you try to put a little too much juice on it?
As a person who doesn't know a damn thing about these racetracks, I have zero idea where anybody is on the track at any given time. I don't know what corner is what, straightaway leading into a thing, a chicane. I have zero idea. I would really like some sort of like an actual track map on the replays.
Unfortunately, I can't get it on the replays. I mean, I can. There is one in game, obviously, and you can obviously look up track maps online. But yeah, there is no track map feature in the current Racing Spectator. Actually, there might be. I was gonna
say that seems weird that they let you do it in game, but they won't let you do it in the replay. That seems not effective or good.
You know, now that I think about it, I think it might be there, and the issue I think was that it was like too large. It kind of dominated the screen a little bit.
Oh well, I mean, it's leave it in the bottom like 16th of the right hand or left hand screen.
Absolutely, yeah, right below the standings would probably be a great place.
Perfect, absolutely.
Grant Patolo still trying to get the pressure on Lachlan Nichols. Looks like they have lost out to Richard Higgs as the checkered flag has been waved. But the 2 Aussies squabble and it lets the Canadian through.
Yeah, boy! Oh,
so Higgs taking 5th place. Joe Racer trying to get past Mike McCracken here at the end, but he is not going to be able to do it. And Rick Martel there in the background in the Gulf Porsche takes 11th place ahead of Ariel Satoni. You can see his horribly wounded front end.
Giggity.
Not looking good.
Not looking great, no. I mean, you changed that Argentine flag to a Greek flag, and I mean, you might have a Dark Lord of the Sith right there. And there's the Bentley of Noel Robbins.
Hey, okay, I thought I saw a Bentley earlier.
Yep, there it is.
All right, there he is.
And rounding off the field, it is Carl Hackman in the Audi R8, Monoplast by Lamb Motorsports car, recovering from his early activities, and finishing a lap down there is the Red Dragon of John Picha, Gainsco McLaren. Mike Stoppmill wins it and also takes fastest lap by a fair margin. He put up a 32.8. Next fastest lap being a 33.3. So, yeah, about a half second per lap faster is the Mercedes of Mike Stoppmill. But he will have to start from the back of the pack here in race 2.
Stoffmill for the mean machine. Stoffmill.
John Picha and Carl Hackman will be your front row here for race number 2. Due to the reverse grid. Any predictions heading into race 2 here, gentlemen? Who do you think can make that climb through the grid from the back? Or
I think that maybe that Michael McGrackenstein kid might do a thing that's okay.
I'm gonna say that my man to watch, and if you can, there's a recording somewhere of the Discord chat. I said it before the race. Ariel Zatoni, who finished 12th in race 1, was running kind of top 5-ish during race 1 until he, destroyed his front end. With him starting on the second row, or I think the third row, might be, no, second row. He'll be starting 4th. He's a guy to look out for because that should produce a pretty solid result for the Argentine.
Yeah, I'd like to see what he can do with a completely intact car. He got taken out pretty early in the last one. Well, took himself out, I guess.
Took himself out, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Waiting for somebody from another South American country that I can cheer for and I can nickname the Bolivian Bomber.
No Bolivians currently in
That's
the
what I'm
ESR
saying.
community. Not, at least none that I'm aware of. There might be.
So if you were watching this and you were Bolivian, come race.
See.
You already, if you come race and you're from Bolivia, you already have the Byron Dirksen boost.
See, near Bolivar. You will be Bolivar and the Sundance Kid. Not a lot of people understand that. That's fine. Whatever. I'm in the booth with fucking plebeians. Cool. I fucking don't understand.
Mind you, it should be mentioned that if there is a sprint track where you could possibly see someone like a Mike Stoppmill come from last to first, Zhuhai pretty high on that list. There's a lot of good overtaking opportunities here, unlike, say, Laguna Seca or Sonoma. So there could be definitely some performances from the back of the pack, some charges through the grid here today. In fact, we saw one in race 1 with Grant Patolo's charge from 15th to 7th.
I mean, that's okay. It's not that great. I mean, you give me like a numbat and some sugar water, and he probably could do the same thing.
I mean, you're probably not wrong.
One of these days, they're just gonna kick me right off the Discord server. It's gonna be interesting.
I don't think that's actually gonna happen. Your gimmick is well up.
Hooray! Listen, if I'm not bullshitting you or teasing you, you haven't met my radar.
It just means you don't know who he is.
Correct. I either don't know who the fuck you are, and your gimmick isn't right up front in my face.
You are the Jeremy Stevens to your Conor McGregor.
I mean, does that mean I get to Tiger uppercut people to the amount of absolute bullshit slung?
In this case, you're the Conor McGregor.
No!
I'm just going with the line with Jeremy Stevens. Where Jeremy Stevens called him out, and he just goes, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go kill myself because apparently I'm no better than the worst fighter known to mankind.
He's not the worst fighter.
He's horrible.
He's really not.
He is the shits.
He's just the most overrated fighter.
He is the worst fighter I have ever heard of.
I mean, I know there are some worse ones. I'll give you Roger Huerta, for example.
Listen, Roger Huerta, better fighter, more notoriety.
Well, ESR does not endorse the views of Byron Dirksen in this regard.
I would say that Daiju Takase better results overall than Conor McGregor.
Not really. Takase has a sub 500 record. Really only
Beat
has that win over
Anderson
Anderson
Silva, thank you and good night.
That on its own does not trump everyone's.
It does, totally does. On a Conor McGregor scale, trumps all that shit.
Admittedly, McGregor.
Daiju Takase beat the best fighter of all time, and Conor McGregor barely escaped death by Mexican.
Wait, which Mexican are you referring to now?
Any Mexican you want to point? Has he fought more than one?
I don't think he's fought any.
I'm gonna go Diaz.
I mean, technically American, but I see your point.
See, that's weird. I don't want to get into a socio-political thing right now, but it's really weird that a lot of the Californian ethnically Mexican fighters identify as exclusively Mexican, but they're born and raised in America. I don't know what that is, and we're going to see some crashes.
We are.
It's going to be great.
They're like 5 wide.
I see a red car, and I want to paint it off the grid because that's a target.
All right, my boy to watch, Ariel Zatoni, has gotten up into the lead already. There's a little bit of argy-bargy. By the way, we lost Lachlan Nichols in between race 1 and race 2.
No, Lochan, why?
Rick Martel with a nice recovery there from going really wide. In the meantime, it's Carl Hackman looking aggressive at Noel Robbins.
I like that.
He's through. Also through is Gerardo Del Valle. Robbins is going a little bit slowly there. Mike McGracken's going to try and force his way up the inside, and he does.
It is. Who's that asshole off the track?
There's a couple of cars off the track.
This is insanity.
Noel Robbins battling with Richard Higgs now for 7th place. Higgs is through.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Toothpaste 500, where you get squeezed the fuck off the track.
Like stop, Bill going for the move here on Noel Robbins. He's sticked around.
Oh my
Airborne! Everybody eat shit.
Mike
Jesus.
Stop, Bill, and Noel
going.
Robbins. I do believe you can fly.
I believe you can fly. I believe you went to jail.
In the meantime, Ariel Zatoni leads the way from Gerardo Del Valle. So Del Valle doing a great job. He's forced his way up from, he finished 3rd in race 1, so he would have started 12th place. And he's up to 2nd in 1 lap.
Not too bad.
Carl Hackman in 3rd position, followed by Mike McGracken. John Peaches slipped to 5th from pole. Rick Martel behind him with Ricardo Higgs in 7th position.
I feel like we need to introduce Hackman into the basketball hack strategy.
Ah, the Hack Shack.
Yeah, you got a hack shack. It's like, oh, he's gonna win points. Hack. That way, I will win points in the long run.
At the moment, I think the pressure's on McGracken to get clear of Hackman because Hackman is holding him up. Peach is holding up the next group of cars, and it's really going to determine who gets through here, what happens. Because Paul Riccabenny's in that group, and we know he's got pace. We know Simeon Naku, who is in that group, has got pace. And looks like McGracken is going up the inside, and he has got 3rd place away from Mr. McGracken. Mr. Hackman, Simeon Naku overtakes his fellow Porsche teammate Rick Martel for 6th place. Next on his radar is the Red Dragon of John Peach and Joe Racer in that bunch too. Way back, Mike Stoffmill is in 11th place, Wayne Hutchinson 12th, Noel Robbins 13th, and Grant Patolo in 15th. Looks like those are the cars that got caught up in that huge, vaguely airborne incident earlier on in the race.
Alright, Simeon, go ahead and just torpedo everybody you can see.
Background, Richard Higgs is getting around Rick Martel, but Paul Riccabenny's sticking his nose in there, and Joe Racers. There is a 4-man scrap going on right now for, what is that, 9th position? Pardon me, that's Carl Hackman back there, not Riccabenny. Hackman's man was, no, that's Hackman up there.
Hack person, you sexist.
It's a last name. It's not. It can be gendered. Anyways, a rundown because things are happening very quickly as Simeon Naku and Carl Hackman exchanging a little bit of paint there. And in the background, you can see Paul Riccobeni. It's throwing me off that Hackman and Riccobeni, of course, have the exact same car.
Hackabay!
Mike Stockmill looking to get around John Peachy to get back up into the top 10. Wonder if Stockmill's car, after that airborne session, has picked up any damage. He looks okay. Going to go down the inside of the red dragon, and he does the job. Or is it Red Devil? Travis, help me out here. What is that car known as?
Red Devil Fight Team? What? Sorry?
Paul Riccobeni going up the inside of Simeon Naku.
Thank you for your input, Travis.
Yeah, no problem.
It's got a nickname. I know it's either Red Dragon or Red Devil. I think it's Red Dragon.
We'll go with that.
It's actually Red Manticore, you speciesist.
All right, Paul Riccobeni needs to get around Carl Hackman ASAP here to try to get some gap to Simeon Naku. Because Naku ate away at his points lead. Naku looking to make this 3 wide. Oh boy, here we go.
Wow.
Thank you, goodbye.
Naku gets them both.
Wow.
And even better, Riccobeni is still behind Hackman. Or is he? I don't know. This is the problem with these two cars being identical. Which one is which?
I think you got him.
I think Riccobeni got Hackman. Richard Higgs is now in the mix there as well. Joe Racer putting up a good effort here in race number 2.
I'm a little weirded out by HR Stoffenmeal being so far back in the pack.
Currently in 10th place, about 2 seconds.
Hello and goodbye.
Oh, boy.
And goodbye and goodbye and goodbye.
So Hackman off the track, Riccobeni off the track. Higgs got collected in that a little bit, but seems to have recovered himself. He's now ahead of Rick Martel, Joe Racer, and the other guy in the battle is the aforementioned Mike Stockmill there in the background.
Hackman got hacky shacked.
By the way, the 2 Chrome cars are battling it out right now. It's a lot of Chrome.
Where did damn it. Where'd Del Valle start?
Gerardo Del Valle, he started in 12th and was in 2nd by the end of lap 1.
Very nice. I'd like to point out that Michael McGrackenschmidt may or may not be in 3rd place. And
Simeon!
Simeon, what?
Abort!
Couldn't quite save it. Almost.
He's fucked up his front end.
One way.
I'd like to point out that Mike has handed out $50 bills to literally everybody who didn't beat him in this race.
Mike Stockmill with a little bit of progress there on that lap. He took both Joe Racer and Rick Martel and has found himself up into 6th place. Next on his list is Richard Higgs, and then the damaged car of Simeon Naku, who looks like he's lost a lot of pace. Gerardo Del Valle putting the pressure on Ariel Zattoni. These two are very good buddies, actually, in chat, and looking to get around, looking to maybe do a little bit of teamwork to get out in front. They are 8 seconds ahead of Mike McGracken. Clearly, they would not accept the bribe.
I don't really believe that, but okay.
Are you suggesting that Mexicans and Argentines are inherently corrupt?
Well, I'm just saying that the Argentine and Mexican dollar might be a little bit on the shady side. Also, if I want to go fishing in Chile, I'd like to go also fishing in Argentina. Might be a bit of a conflict. So, bribes are good.
Gotcha. In the background, Paul Riccobeni has overtaken Joe Racer for 8th position there, so he's trying to make his charge back to the red.
That's cute, but Mike Stockmill go win.
Richard Higgs pushing through on Simeon Naku. And Mike Stockmill might just take both of them.
Yeah, he will.
I think he will, actually. A very damaged McLaren there of John Peachin is falling off the lead lap.
And Stockmill is through. Thank you and good night.
Indeed, he is through and into 4th position. Next up on his list is Mike McGracken.
Dun, dun, Dun 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 in the wall.
In the meantime, Gerardo Del Valle looking to try to push his way through, looking for his second victory of the season. And looking to strengthen his champion. He's kind of the third guy that we don't really bring up a lot in the championship fight, but very much involved in it. It's really between Riccobeni, Naku, and Mr. Del Valle. But Gerardo, you know, this would be a great move for him. He's currently running in 6th place, and his championship rivals are in 6th and 7th. This is a fantastic time to do it. Richard Higgs is not letting Mike Stockmill get away.
Put him in the wall.
Keeping the pressure on him for the CRP racing. AKA crap
CPR.
racing.
Who's gonna have a heart attack with it?
AKA crap racing.
Oh.
And they're heading into the very difficult to get right last corner. I think we've seen some very good drivers get that wrong, but both of them in this case getting that correct. In the background there, Riccobeni still squabbling with Simeon Naku over 6th place, very key in the championship. And also very key in the championship is Del Valle trying to get around Ariel Zatoni. Del Valle, I must say, maybe the lap of the season, 12th to 2nd on the first lap.
I mean, it's not too bad. He's not first, but he's not too bad.
And in the background there, it looks like Paul Riccobeni has indeed taken the position from Simeon Naku, whose damaged car seems to be definitively hindering his progress through the field. Looks like he would, correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, but he would have basically no front grip with the current condition of his car.
Pretty much. I mean, the splitter was there, but the whole bumper was gone.
As Gerardo Del Valle has indeed taken the lead off of Ariel Zatoni, so there you go, Byron. 12th to 1st place.
I mean, it took him a long time, and he eventually got there, but I guess it's okay.
Quick silver update. Mike McCracken leading the silver drivers from Richard Higgs, Simeon Naku, Joe Racer, and Rick Martel. Pretty heavy silver crew actually here today. By the way, I believe at this point in the race we have lost Grant Patolo and Carl Hackman.
What the hell? Listen, if the platypus done stung the author, I'm gonna be a little upset.
I believe connection issues for Patolo, and Hackman, I believe, may have damaged himself off of a couple of those contacts he had, and the car may have given up on him.
So you're saying he might have got drunk in a pub and glassed a wee lassie?
I'm not saying that, but I'm not excluding it either. Ariel Zatoni looking to put the pressure back on Gerardo Del Valle, but he's historically been the number 2 driver in this partnership. Can he make something stick? Also, I mean, at this point, I mean, you gotta wonder if that's your buddy in the lead there. He's fighting for a championship. This is a big deal for him, 1st place versus 6th and 7th for his rivals. Do you really go hard for it? I know Travis's answer is yes, because Travis doesn't play as a team player.
I mean, always.
Hard in the paint.
You know, seeing the way he's driving it, I hadn't tried the rough since before the Porsches came out. Is that car? I mean, obviously it's good, but I mean, is it up to par with the others, or is?
It's pretty on par. I mean, I'd say the Porsche 911 is better, but the rough is probably B tier GT3 car, with the A tier being just 2 cars. It's basically the Callaway and the Porsche.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty even with the Audi R8, the Mercedes AMG, you know, I might even put the Nissan in that now, because we've talked about this before, and I don't know if we brought it up here. I'm seriously wondering if maybe the Nissan in the game now is actually the 2nd gen GTR, and they just didn't change the physical model, because it handles a lot differently than it used to.
Yeah, that's another one I don't think I've ever spent any time in.
And basically the deal is, if you compare the 1st generation Nissan, which is the car we supposedly have in the game, with the 2nd gen, is the 2nd gen loses a little bit of horsepower, but gains a considerable amount of grip and handling. That's kind of what it feels like now. And even Grant brought it up in race 1, actually. He was saying he felt the Nissan was slow in a straight line. And I was helping Rochelle, of course, prepare for Suzuka, and kind of noted the same thing, that it seems like somewhere, like kind of a silent update or something, the Nissan became the second gen. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's actually the second gen. Truly, but Mike Stockmill here going for the move against Mike McCracken. A little bit of banging on the doors, but the Lincoln Park is through.
Sounds like you might need to cleanse him ethnically.
As far as I know, he's actually whiter than I am, so there's no ethnic cleansing there to go with.
So you are racist.
I've never said that I was racist, but I come from a very racist people.
He's slightly 2 degrees lighter than I am. Deaf.
Yugoslavia will find the slightest thing to pick a fight about. It didn't matter if it was religion, politics, or vaguely racial imperialism.
You gosh darn Montenegrins are all weird.
Not Montenegrin. I take great offense to the suggestion that I am.
That's what I'm saying. Unbelievable.
In the meantime, Joe Racer making a move there on Simeon Naku. Racer is his closest rival in the Silver Cup. Although, if we're being honest, the battle for Racer is more to hang on for second place from the likes of Richard Higgs, Mike McCracken, Dean Reimers, than it is really. Whoa! Ariel with a nice recovery there. Gerardo has been unable to pull away, that's for sure. And looks like Richard Higgs has lost 5th place to championship leader Paul Riccobeni, who's looking to make a little bit ahead, a little bit of his points advantage back. Of course, with Simeon Naku suffering the damage earlier on in the race and running in 8th position there. Although he is looking to come back at Joe Racer for 7th, and he might be through. A little bit of door banging there, but Simeon Naku getting the job done. But Joe Racer still more or less side by side with them. Heading into the last turn, this is where Naku lost his front end. He kind of had to just cede that corner to Joe Racer with the compromised front arrow. Background there is Rick Martel running a pretty solid 9th place.
See you, Ricardo.
And I'll tell you, the kind of disappointing guy right now is Wayne Hutchinson back there in 10th place. Just not really able to make any ground in this particular round.
Well, what you gotta do is you gotta charge up there, you put everybody in the wall, and you win.
And that is one way to do it. That is the Travis Wallace School of Victory 101.
Whatever works, man.
Whatever works. Looked clean.
Do your paddles hang low, do the flappy wall to and fro.
Not really sure where you were going.
Well, I was gonna throw him in a knot and then tie him in a bow, but I mean, whatever.
In the meantime, both Richard Higgs and Paul Riccobeni catching the 4th place car of Mike McCracken, who's been booted off the podium by Mike Stockmill. And the battle between Naku and Racer, it's not done, but it seems like Simeon's having a hard time making that car behave itself.
I think if he could get around him, he would be a lot better off. He's already got no downforce on the front of that thing, and being in the draft.
Yeah, being in the draft with no front end. I mean, that is no front grip right there.
Yeah, absolutely no good.
Still putting up decent lap times, though. I mean, he's not that far back of this battle here for 4th place. And as far as we can tell, it looks like these 3 cars are entirely healthy. Although Paul Riccobeni was involved in the airborne incident earlier, so maybe carrying around some minor suspension damage or something, but has come back through the grid nicely. And is looking to take that top Audi spot away from Mike McCracken.
Torpedo time!
Paul is not a torpedo kind of guy.
Not that, I mean, he's probably pretty good at it that you don't notice.
I mean, he did torpedo me a little bit at Laguna Seca, but, you know, we'll let bygones be bygones in that.
I mean, that's fine. Unless, of course, you don't put him in the wall.
It's interesting, despite the fact that these two Audis should be the same, it does look like the ADAC version, which is the one being driven by Paul Riccobeni, has a bit of a narrower back end to it, just a bit.
That booty.
Could also be just the coloring making it seem that way. We're heading into the last turn here. This is a good chance if Riccobeni can make it stick. He looks like he might.
Get him, go.
Bit of a sloppy exit there from Mike McCracken, and Riccobeni is through into 4th place. McCracken looking to do the switchback to the inside of turn 1.
In the wall.
Really
in the wall. In the wall. In the wall.
And the man who might benefit from this, Richard Higgs. How much you want to think Richard is like? Just give me a little Audi on Audi violence here. I'll take that.
In the wall. In the wall.
Further back, it doesn't look like there's really any other battles going on right now. Simeon Naku has dropped about 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds off of Joe Racer, so it looks like his charge there is over. So it's the 5th place battle between McCracken and Higgs that we'll probably stick with here on the last lap as we head to the finish here. Looks like it's going to be a win for Gerardo Del Valle, his 2nd of the season. Ariel Zatoni would get his best finish of the season with a 2nd place in this break, while Mike Stockmill would round off the podium. We will see if anything changes in the meantime. Have I cast or cursed anyone else?
Yeah, you have.
Riccobeni has managed to pull away a little bit from the battle between McCracken and Higgs, so he's solid in 4th place.
And then, oh my god! Oh my goodness! Michael McCracken, Hyman, and Schmidt and Thingy has fired all of the photon torpedoes and they're all dead, and he finishes first.
He deploys all the blue shells.
Well,
indeed, the top 3 have come across the line. Riccobeni is going to follow them in 4th place. McCracken is going to take 5th place ahead of Richard Higgs. That is your top 6 here today. McCracken is your Silver Cup winner. Joe Racer going to take 7th ahead of Simeon Naku. Bit of a weak 2nd race for Naku. Lost that front end while chasing for a podium. Winds up in 8th place. Still a solid result, though, considering. Further back, it's going to be Rick Martell coming in to round off, or coming in 9th. Behind him, that's John Picha, who will come home in 12th position in the McLaren, a lap down. Sans the front end, Wayne Hutchinson. That might explain why we saw very little of Wayne Hutchinson. No front end as he comes in 10th, and there is Noel Robbins in 11th place in the Bentley. I want to say that might be the best result the Bentley's had this season, but I guess that's the call. If anyone's interested in driving a Bentley in this series, Noel could use some help being the lone Bentley entry.
the lone wolf.
Very lone wolf.
Brrr.
But a little airborne here, so maybe the lone hawk is more appropriate, or eagle.
The lone stork.
Anyways, there is your results. You see the DNS for Lachlan Nichols, Grant Patolo, and Carl Hackman. Fastest lap of the race was Mike Stockmill by about 0.4 of a second. Put up a 33.3 there as his fastest lap.
Looks like Australia ain't no good and the Mamas ain't no good.
Yeah, Australia after a really solid race 1. Kind of lackluster here in race 2. Check out the standings in the description below, and we'll catch you next time with, don't really know what's next on deck. We got a DTM race to do at some point. Not Macau.
Macau!
Not Macau.
Assholes!
Not Macau.
Whatever!
It's not Macau. You know what? We're gonna have to arrange like the Byron Dirksen Invitational at Macau.
Yeah.
Like the most nonsensical cars and get like 35 cars on the grid.
That's all I'm asking for. 3 drink minimum.
Dude, you don't understand. We don't need the 3 drinks. It's gonna be carnage anyway.